Good morning, CPM 2. Last night, I was sent this question from one of you guys, and I thought it was a good enough problem that I would share with everyone. So it wants us to graph this linear equation. We're given x minus y equals 5. This is no different than like these problems here that we did in the notes. The only difference is we're not given the actual T chart, right? In these problems here, we were given this chart. We were given this chart right here, but nothing's filled out in it. Same thing here. I just have to make my own chart. So, we're going to have an X and Y column. Now, technically, we've been doing at least 3 points, but all you really need for this is just 2 points. And so, what are the two easiest numbers to plug in? It's not always going to be the case, but for most cases, it's going to be easiest to plug in a 0 for your X and solve for Y, and then 0 for your Y and solve for X. Okay. All right. So let's start with X is 0. When X equals 0, plug that into this equation here. So now instead of X minus Y, now it is 0 minus Y, and that equals 5. So 0 minus Y is just the same as a minus or a negative Y. And that can be a really tricky one. Don't drop that negative off with that Y. And then now how do we solve for a positive Y? We're going to divide both sides by -1. So negative divided by negative right here is positive Y. And 5 divided by a -1, you've got different signs. So that is negative. So now this right here goes here. Okay, so that's one ordered pair, but we need 2. And I can go ahead and plot that right here. Remember, when you have this ordered pair as 0, -5, this is your X coordinate and this is your Y coordinate, or you can just remember OU, go over side to side before you go up or down. So 0 for that X means I'm going 0 left or right. And then I'm going 5 down. Okay, so that's my first point. Okay, so now when Y equals 0, so use the exact same equation. I've got X minus Y equals 0, so that's going to look like X minus 0 equals 5. Well, anything minus 0 is itself, right? If you do 7 minus 0, that's 7. If you do 50 minus 0, that's 50. So X minus 0 is just X. So we've got X equals 5. Okay, so my ordered pair is 5, 0. So I'm going to go from the origin, I'm going to go 5 on my X, but 0 up or down. So it's just right there on that X coordinate. Okay, and so then that is my line. Right there. See if I can get this to work. Okay. So there is my line. Now the biggest question I get with these is, how do I know what to pick, right? We picked 0 for the X and 0 for the Y. Those are not the only 2 points on this line. If you notice, if I would have picked 6 right here, where is that ordered pair? That's at 1, right? So if instead of saying X is 1 or X is 0, I could have said X equals 1. And so back into this original equation, we would have had 1 minus Y equals 5. So how do you solve for Y? Well, the opposite of a positive 1 is a negative 1. So we'll subtract 1 from both sides of our equation. So I've got negative Y equals 4. Divide both sides by negative 1. Negative divided by negative is positive, so we get Y. 4 divided by a negative 1, those are different signs, so that will be negative. Okay, so now this ordered pair is 1, negative 4. So on your X coordinate, you're going to go over 1 and then down negative 4. And so that point is right here. That is still on our line. All of these points here are ordered pairs that we could have picked. So just because I picked 0 for X and 0 for Y, that's not the only choice. You can pick any number you want. Sometimes what I will do instead, when it comes to this T-chart, is I will just kind of go pick your X and your Y, and if I want 3 points, sometimes I just go down the line and pick 1, 2, 3 and solve all of these for Y. Okay, there's certain times when that's easier. Okay, but it does not matter what numbers you are putting into this T-chart as long as you are solving for the other variable correctly. Because as I kind of showed you right here, like there is an infinite amount of points on this line that we can choose from. Okay, so there's not a right or wrong on what you're choosing. Now, sometimes, like when it gives you a T-chart, it wants you to fill out 3 points. That's not always the case. If it gives you a problem like this right here, where you don't have anything, okay, and we'll save that for fun. When it gives you like this problem here, when you're going in here to graph, all you need is 2 points. So our first point was 0, 5. Our second point was 5, 0. And it makes that line for you. So you don't need 3 points. Okay. So when you don't see anything, that's all you need. And let me... Okay, save that, check answer. Okay, so I know this is a hard lesson. A lot of you guys, after looking at your homework yesterday, have been struggling on it a little bit. So if you guys have more questions, please let me know because your homework's due tomorrow. So if you get stumped, please send me an email. Hit that little question help, right? And well, it doesn't show it on here because I guess I am the professor. But on this little question help, send me the question just like this student did. And I can see exactly what you're seeing and I can help you out.